is a creative weapon. It's not a tool for distributing excuses. The first sign of a loser is an excuse. Champions take full responsibility, good or bad, for their outcomes. Tell the world one time what you're gonna do, and that's it. Spend less time talking and more time grinding. Think like a champion. Speak like a champion. And then walk it out. Grind 120 all day, every day. Stop making excuses. Champions make adjustments, not excuses. Every time you justify being average, you invite in the enemy. Mediocrity is a dream killer. Your coach, your trainer, your teacher, your boss is not the problem. It's your consistency. You gotta make a decision. How bad do you want it? Average is on the left. Success is on the right. You gotta choose which one you want. A champion's workout doesn't officially begin until pain arrives.
Happy Monday, beautiful people. Hey, y'all. Hold on. I still look dark over your side. Hold on. I don't know if y'all saw that difference or not. I definitely did. But anyway, happy Monday, beautiful people. Happy Monday. It is a whole week later since the last time I seen you. It is September the 11th. It's September 11th. It is September the 11th, 2023, day 99. No. What am I doing? And I put 99 in the title today. Something messing on my It is not day 99. It is day 100. I did my title before I opened my book. I'm gonna have to fix that. Okay. It is day 100 of year 5 of reading through books, laws, and prophets, and of the 5-year consecutive day count. It is day 1480. Today, we're reading chapter 15 in the book of Fragapati found in Owaspi. And once we get done here, we're going to go ahead and read chapter 44 in the Holy Megillah. So, Father, we thank you that we just take our rest and relaxation when we need it. All right, beautiful people. Let's see who all here. Mom, shalom. Tabitha, hey, girl, hey. Greetings to my beloveds and your perfect love and light to all. My mom said, shalom, family. Peace, love, and light to all. Elizabeth Weaver. Hi, Ray. Tigba, hey, girl. Hey, bless up. Love the updated intro. Thank you. I'm adding some more to it. So I want to get it to where I got at least 31 of them with different motivations. Right now, I only got 2. Y'all heard that last week. But it take me a little while to add the ending on to that. So you'll start hearing. Eventually, we'll have one for every day of the month, right? So give y'all some different motivation. Even though we're not here 31 days a month because we take the weekends off. And if the Sabbath fall during the week, we're not there either. And if I just decide to randomly here in year 5 just take a whole week off, then we never going to get through them 31. Listen. Okay. Nazarite, the scene, what's going on, fam? Grand Rising, and welcome back, Creative Gang family. Lamp, Jason, Righteous, shalom. Kings and Queens Coaching Group, what's going on, fam? Shalom. All right, y'all. Let's see. And everybody else here hanging out in the background. Happy Monday. Let's go ahead and get started here. Hold on. Lindsay, y'all, what's going on, fam? Good morning. I see some of y'all answer the question. So what I'm trying to do with the questions, even though I posted one, I got a whole bunch of them. But I'm rethinking some of the questions. I don't want them to be religious questions, even though that the first one was very specific to Owaspi, right? I'm trying to figure out how to gauge spiritual growth here, right? Just even though some of the questions, I may not give it to you word for word coming out of whatever we done read, but I'm going to just try to sum up the gist of what we should have learned and ask the question. So like I said, I already got like 20 of them, but I'm like, I might need to adjust these because a lot of them right now, a lot of the spiritual growth questions, it comes from a WASP, but I don't want them to be specific to a WASP. I want them to be specific to your spirit, period. Right? So when you read it, I want them to be evergreen, timeless. So if anybody ever comes to the page and just happens to go back into history and they see these questions, they can, that's a good question. Well, how do I really feel about that? Have I been, in whatever, have I been really led by a bunch of religious facts, and have I just been stuck on one type of book? All of those things, I want to be able to take all of what we're learning and bring it into life today, make it usable today, because that's what all these religious books and idols, that's what all of this was for. Not to ever be fighting over book, whose book is better, what book is outdated, what book is false. It's really about you. It's a bunch of stories. Some happened, some didn't, some are completely garbage. But still, even the things that are completely garbage, the whole point of it all is to grow the entity inside your flesh, right? From the time you get here, everything is about growth. There's some growth that we have no control over, that we absolutely cannot stop, i.e. the growth of the body, unless somebody comes and sends you into eternity before your time, or something tragic happens, or some kind of medical malfunction happens with your vehicle to where your entity can no longer develop in it in a holistic way. But that type of growth physically, we can't stop. Like I said, unless it's one of those things that happen, or you come into this world and something is already physically wrong to you because of what's happened during the birth cycle and all of that. So my questions, I'm like, yep, no, they too specific to a book. Like the first one, it was very specific to a WASP. I'm just like, I wanted to delete it. Then I was like, I hadn't already put it up there. A couple people already answered it, so I'm gonna just leave it. But I just need to really redo it, because I don't want this to be, like I said, I don't want this to become like this religious thing. I want it to be a place where people really can, even though we're here for the shenanigans and the laughs in the morning and all that stuff, I really want it to be a place where people can really just think about themselves and really gauge their own spiritual growth, So that's where the questions start coming in. I said some gonna change this year. We got to learn how to gauge spiritual growth. And even though I can't necessarily gauge your spiritual growth unless we engage here in the comment section, so to speak, at least maybe I can help lay something that you can sit back and reflect on your own life, and you can gauge your own spiritual growth, because ultimately you are you are the judge of you. Our great creator is going to allow you to judge yourself, right? So just like we judge situations and other people from our, let's say, our tainted lenses of life, we should be able to clean up those lenses to see clearly, right? Hold our peace and learn how to judge ourselves first appropriately, right? Before we're able to truly speak on somebody else, so we can actually help them gauge their own personal growth, so that they can make a decision to do or not to do something that they're doing to stunt their spiritual growth or somebody else's. So that's what that one random question came in, and I posted it everywhere. It's really, I'm setting it up because I think I can schedule it on Facebook too. I know I can schedule them in the community section on YouTube, but I know you can schedule stuff like events for Facebook, but I'm not sure that I can schedule a post. I've never looked at that, but if I can schedule it, I'm gonna schedule it all. And every place is gonna have the same question every day, but still working on it. I got to rephrase some of these questions so they're not specific to a book. I want you to really think about what you've learned from the book. How can you apply it to your life today? What applies? What doesn't apply, right? All right, because I just don't want this to become a thing where we just hear like, oh, I'm going to church this week. I cannot do that. I can't do that. So, but anyway, beautiful people. Facebook user, what's going on, fam? I just read about judging others and God's and the wasp. It's good section. Johnny James. Every time I see your name, you make me think about my daddy. Right? That is my father's name, Johnny James. I just read about, no, I didn't even put your comment up here. I'm sorry. Appreciate my good sis Pam. Peace and blessings to all, love and light. Thanks, fam. BC, what's going on, Brandon Carter? Just me, peace, love, and light. Jamia, hey girl, hey. All right, y'all, let's go ahead. That's Misha. Hey girl, hey, Facebook user. All right, and a few more people that came in the background. All right, y'all, let's go. All right, so, and I'm debating if I'm gonna make the normal time here in year 5, 6:30. I'm still debating, the jury's still out on that one right now. We'll see. I really want to keep it at 6:15. But we'll see. All right, y'all. Chapter 15. No, did we? Hold on. Let me see. Signifying green for the newborn. Wait a minute. Every hour. Because my former. So that he could scarce speak, and he mastered himself a little. Wait, did we read? Hold on, I'm trying to remember. I think we read. Didn't we read 2 chapters? I was like, I can't stop here. Nope, we did it. Right here, that's what I was looking for. We're on chapter 14 because the last thing I remember saying when we read this, Fragga Patty said, let us then suspend the subject. Okay. All right. So chapter 14, we're on page 180 in the WASP at the top. And if you don't have the numbers written out, it's chapter XIV, chapter 14. All right. Upward rose the Avalanza with its contrasting assemblage of the souls of light, and with the souls of darkness, the Druhas, the holy Isinars, chanting anthems of praise and thanksgiving, whilst the Druhas were engaged in or cursing everything in heaven or earth, or in weeping and moaning, or in stupor, dull as if dead. Fragga Patty had previously sent swift messengers to Athavra and the holy council of Moru, where had descended the light of Jehovah, whose voice came upon them, saying, Lo, my hosts come in the Avalanza. Prepare ye to inhabit them, 30 million. Choose ye from my Ethereans and my Atmospherians, who shall receive the hosts of the Avalanza, and 900 million in darkness. Go ye therefore to the borders of the sea, Chiwan, near the crossroads, Silu, where I have created the plains of Hoopsigam, ample for their resurrection, and ye shall provide them houses and hospitals and nurseries suitable for them to dwell in, being ready when the Avalanza cometh to deliver them. So quick recap. Just a real quick recap. They had just delivered a couple of hills. And so they have these crazed spirits, those who are deranged Druhas, that have descended down to the lowest depths of understanding while being a spirit, and they're transporting them. They delivered them from the hills, and now they're transporting them to nurseries, hospitals, so that they can begin to be restored and get back on the right track so they can continue developing their spirit or their entity, right? Verse 4, Athavra and the Holy Council had responded to this, and the swift messengers in turn had informed Fragga Patty of the place prepared. Accordingly, the Avalanza was landed in Hoopsigam, where the 30 million were in waiting to receive them, disciplined by Ardiata, goddess of Zehi in Ethera, first of the 7 Etas in Gam. And they had 10,000 trumpeters, beside other players, 4,200. And after 4,200 is reference number 17, and at the bottom 17 says 4,200. All subsequent similar changes are footnoted, are not footnoted. See editor's note number 3. Hey, so. What?
$100 million leads.
Oh, okay, yeah, $100 million leads.
When
Yeah.
I was talking, when he was talking about his other book, $100 million offers, I'm just like, okay, let's read that.
You curious to read it? I have it. It's sitting on my desk. That's part 1.
That's part 1.
Yeah, you cannot develop a business without those 2. And number 3 is on the way. Oh my gosh! All
What
right.
is number 3 gonna be about? Advertising in general? Like,
no, that's volume 2. No.
Then what else we got?
He left us a cliffhanger. So they preparing to promote that. Okay. Verse 5. Ardiata had provided the pastures in green and in red and brown, but the green she had laid near Chiwan, where the Avalanza would land. Hence, it was called Hootsigam, signifying green for the newborn. Consequently, the Juhas were delivered from the Avalanza on an open green plain, neither dark nor light, suited to the diseased in mind. Excuse me. Suited. Let me read the whole sentence again. Consequently, the Druhas were delivered from the Avalanza on an open green plain, neither dark nor light, suited to the diseased in mind. Fragapati knew Ardiata, for her former kingdom in Etheria lay in one of its own provinces, and it was easy for him to commune with her at a distance and without messengers. So even before the Avalanza landed, he said unto her, I will cast the Druhas on the green fields, and as fast as thou and thy host can resuscitate them to consciousness, they shall be selected and carried into the houses and nurseries thou hast provided for them. Thus was the Avalanza discharged of the Juhas for the present in Horati to receive treatment prior to being carried to Zeredho. And Ardiata and her host took charge of them, although more than 4 million of Hoab's hosts also remained with them as volunteers to assist in the redemption. Then Fragapati directed the ship to be steered for Moru, whither it arrived in due season, and where were in waiting to receive him more than 1,000 million souls, and they had provided musicians, 1 million players and singers, so that far and near it was like a sea of music. When Hoab looked upon the beauty and magnificence of the scene, and especially the discipline, his soul was filled with thanks to the Great Spirit, so that he was scarce. So that he could, is it scarce or scarce? My uncle had a whole conversation with me, and I still forget how to say it. I think it's scarce. Is it scarce? Or is it scarce? Like I'm gonna scare you. I gotta think.
Scarce is the improper version. In
Scarce.
English, scarce.
Scarce. Okay. Like scarce, like scarf. Scarce. Okay.
All
right.
English is stupid like that.
Derek's. Shalom, shalom. Auntie, hey girl, hey. She said family. Okay, y'all. Okay. When Hoab looked upon the beauty and magnificence of the scene, and especially the discipline, his soul was filled with thanks to the Great Spirit, so that he could, you say it's scarce? Scarce? Scarce or scarce?
Scarce. If we're going by proper English, scarce, but if we're going by natural English, today's English, scarce.
It ain't helping me.
Scarce.
Let's say scarce. I'm
yes,
about
tomato,
to Google
tomato. Tomato. Scarce. Just use scarce.
Now see, now I gotta look it up. Hold on. Scarce. See, this what you said, scarce or scarce?
I said scarce as
improper.
Yeah. No. Scarce is the improper. Scarce.
Scarce. Like I'm gonna scare you. Like I gotta figure out something to be able to remember that. Scared. Scarce. It's scarce, y'all.
When my teacher's going down my throat about stuff being, but it's fine. It's fine.
Scarce. Okay. Scarce.
Age. I should expect it. They got rid of cursing. What else they gonna get rid of?
Tomato, like you said. When Joab looked upon the beauty and magnificence of the scene, and especially the discipline, his soul was filled with thanks to the Great Spirit, so that he could scarce speak. And when he mastered himself a little, he said, O chief Fragapati, how could one so exalted as thou art come to me as a red hoe? How could one so exalted as thou, how could, O chief Fragapati, how could one so exalted as thou art come to me in Zaredho? Every hour I am rebuked by myself because of my former vanity. Fragapati said, to learn not to speak of one's self, nor to think of one's self, whether praised or rebuked, is not the right, hold on. Is this not the right road to Jehovah? Let me read that again. Whole thing. That was good. Let me highlight that. Okay. So essentially what he's saying is good not to be full of yourself. Like some people really need to get over themselves. Listen, Fragapati said, to learn not to speak of one's self, nor to think of one's self, whether praised or rebuked. Is this not the right road to Jehovah? There probably should be a question, because it's a lot of people full of themselves, right? I used to be one. I probably am still a little bit, maybe a lot. But I'm just saying it's a way to gauge spiritual growth. Do you talk about yourself all the time? Are you one of the ones that call yourself humble in groups of other people? Yes, I'm probably the most humblest person you're going to meet. That's an indication that you are not. You're talking about yourself. It becomes true when other people can see that about you, and then they lay them compliments on you, or maybe not directly to you, but maybe to somebody else near around you or something. But when it comes from you, you got a little bit longer to go on this road that you on, buddy. Fragapati said, to learn not to speak of one's self, nor to think of one's self, whether praised or rebuked. Is this not the right road to Jehovah? Joab said, it is true. Therefore, the opposite is going on the wrong road. That's good. That's the end of that chapter. We're going to pause. I'm debating though. Let's do one more. We'll stop at the end of 15. 14 is 15. Okay. All right, chapter 15. When the avalanche was made fast and the host came forth, many of the Zaredhoians, fearing the brilliancy of the lights of Moru, were permitted to go and dwell a little way off. But the others, led by Fragapati and Joab, entered the capital city and came before the throne of Jehovah, greeted by Athavra and the holy council. Athavra said, in the name of Jehovah, O chief, greeting, and to thee, O Joab, come ye and honor the throne of Moru. Fragapati said, greeting to thee, Athavra, and to ye, most holy council, in the name of our father. Joab said, greeting in Jehovah's name. And then Fragapati and Joab went forward and ascended the throne and sat on the left hand of Athavra. At once the light from the Ethereal worlds began to fall upon the throne and even upon the whole council, and the light was golden yellow, the most sacred color and brilliant. Joab had never seen such before and was overwhelmed with fear and delight, but many of his hosts were obliged to hide their faces. Presently, the light condensed over the throne, even whilst 3,000 million looked on, till like a very sun, it stood above Fragapati's head. And then came the voice of the Almighty, Jehovah, out of the midst of the light. Jehovah said, hear the words of thy Creator, O man, who created the corporal and the Essene worlds. Behold the works of my hands. Who can find a place where I have not created? Think not that I cannot also create a voice and words. For is this not easier than to create a man who shall create words? Behold, my corporal sons amidst my corporal star worlds. Behold, my Ethereal sons amidst my Essene worlds. I made corporal darkness, and I made corporal light. I made spiritual darkness and I made spiritual light, but I am the light of light. I am the word of words. Now, yesterday, this is really all. I ain't gonna say it's word for word, but I was reading through yesterday the book of inspiration, and in the first few chapters, this right here, this whole portion where the creator is speaking, it's kind of like summing up what I was reading in them first few chapters, where it was really going into the creation of man and how we were made a blank slate and all of the things that we generate from within us. It doesn't actually originate within us. All of the information that we're able to generate actually comes from what we have gathered from around us. So really, we are administrators of information, right? And we're constantly sorting through the information that's coming in. And so while I was looking at that, that's what made me think. I was like, this is really good. There has to be a way to be able to take all of this stuff that we've learned and kind of bring it together so we can gauge our own spiritual growth. Not that we just follow this rigorous pattern every day of what we're doing, but it has to be some time of reflection where we sit back, okay, and all of the administrating and facilitating information that's coming in here, we need to take a break and just sit and stop and think, okay, where was I at last year? Maybe not even last year. Maybe we should do shorter than that. Last month. Where was I at last month versus where am I at this month? Right? There should be times when we stop, take breaks, look at the information we've sorted through that's flowed through our being, right? And if we are able to do faster checks on ourselves, I think it would sharpen us a lot quicker. We'd be able to process information a whole lot faster, not just the physical, corporal things that have to do with this realm that our spirit is hidden inside of flesh, right? Our spirits will get sharper. We'd be able to quickly separate truth from errors instead of going on so long with one way of thinking where we don't make any adjustments for like a whole year. Sometimes you may need that. Like say if you're trained, even if you're training your body and you're working out, you're definitely going to start seeing some results just by being consistent every day. Even if you're taking like 2 days off or one rest day, but if you're consistent with it, you should be able to see some good results. If you're just changing your diet, I ain't talking about adding extra stuff, supplements and things like that, but if you just cut out the junk, eat whatever you want to call a balanced diet, and get exercise every day, just by making those small changes, you'll begin to see results. And it depends. Men, because of the testosterone, they see it a little bit faster than the women do. But I say 2 months, right? But sometimes I think that it may be too long for some people, because some people, if you go too long, they're not able to check things, as their attention gets diverted and they get off. So there needs to be shorter check-in periods. So I say maybe like every 30 days, just pause. Okay, boom. What has this benefited me any? There should be something. Even if you see nothing, but you just got your discipline down and you did it. Yes, the change, I was consistent this month. That's the only change I see. I ain't saying no weight come off yet, but let's do it another month, right? You got to do it the same way, like that parable in the New Testament. That's the first thing that came to mind. So I'm gonna go with it, right? Just like the parable in the New Testament about the fig tree. Master, he said, all right, listen, was it the fig tree? The fig tree was the one that came to mind, but I was thinking about the other one, about the guy when he came. It might be the fig tree, where he said, Master, give me another year. Let me just dig up around them, I'm gonna fertilize, do all of this. And if there's no growth in the next year, we'll uproot and we throw it in the fire, right? Because there's no growth here. When it comes to spiritual things, we shouldn't wait like a whole year. Sometime if we wait a whole year, we might get stuck in somebody else's religion. Or if you're transitioning from bondage, you might get stuck in another bondage if you're not able to quickly assess the situation, right? Because everybody, you don't stay under their teachings forever. Like some people go to the same church all their life. I don't even know how that's even possible, even being a full-blown Christian, right? I'm just like, there's at some point, I can see if you stand there and you're going through phases, and then in 20 years we'll come back and you the pastor. Okay, something has happened. A couple of things could have happened. Somebody could have died and just put you in a position, or maybe you progressed through their little training program and you started off as sister, brother, whoever, right? Then you made your way up, sung in the choir, like you didn't. Throughout these years, you've been in every position in the church you could possibly hold: evangelist, pastor, teacher, preacher, whatever. I can see that, but still. But if there's no changes in the church and you still preaching the same message from 20 years ago, there's a problem. Houston, there is a problem, right? But I think there should be shorter periods where we should be able to, we should stop, engage our spiritual growth, just to make sure we haven't gotten off track, right? And in every other place we do that, right? When you drive in the car, you don't just drive without having your hands on the steering wheel, right? Now you can do that for a quick moment, even if you got cruise control. But sometimes especially if your vehicle needs to be aligned, it'll start inching over a little bit. Before you know, you might be off the bridge, you then hit a tree. Same thing with flying. Even though the pilots don't keep their hands on the gauges, they have to keep live pilots there just to make sure she doesn't go off course. When you're supposed to be going over here to flying to Virginia, next thing you know, y'all in Japan. First of all, how did you even get on this track? They got up out the seat. They weren't paying attention. Right? So Shayla, hey cousin, hey girl, hey. Beautiful butterfly April's journey. Shalom, sis. Prince, what's going on, fam? Infinity rising, beloved. Hoab has not heard Eo's voice in a long while, so this was all new to him. You right? Because remember, he was in his most best perfect world, right? And they had literally separated themselves from the creed, not necessarily separated, but in the way they did, because they thought they were it. There was no place higher than them. So definitely he forgot, right? Okay. Enough of my side note. Let's go back, because it don't even look like we're gonna get to the whatchamacallit, because I'm reading the second chapter today. All right, listen. Oh, I was talking about the book of inspiration. All of this, the first few chapters, it really aligns with this right here in the book of Fragga Patty. Matter of fact, in that it talks about that's good. In those first few chapters, it's talking about Fragga Patty and the portion of time where man was really developed and no longer really relying, or shouldn't have no longer been relying on props and idols, which were approved at the beginning, but it was to teach you a principle. But man has chosen to hold on to idols, and now they're being used for something that they were never created for. So when they were created, idols were a good thing, right? But they were never to be worshipped. They were only meant to be used as teaching props to help you understand about yourself and the great creator, and the great creator who created you. Oh Lord, swallow went down the wrong pipe. Hold on. Okay, let's go back. Verse 5. We're on page 182 at the top in OASP, Book of Fragga Patty. Hear the words of thy creator, O man. That's verse 6, I'm sorry. Hear the words of thy creator, O man, who created the corporal and the Essene worlds. Behold the works of my hands. Who can find a place where I have not created? Think not that I cannot also create a voice and words. For is this not easier than to create a man who shall create words? Behold, my corporal sons amidst my corporal star worlds. Behold, my Ethereal sons amidst my Essene worlds. I made corporal darkness, and I made corporal light. I made spiritual darkness, and I made spiritual light. But I am the light of light. I am the word of words. As the wisdom of man inventeth words, so doth the light of my light come in words to them that can bear my light. Hold on, y'all. And I read it again. As the wisdom of man inventeth words, so doth the light of my light come in words to them that can bear my light. Behold, my wisdom, O man, in creating souls out of the substance of corporal darkness. That was an exclamation point. Okay. Behold, my wisdom, O man, in creating souls out of the substance of corporal darkness. And after darkness is reference letter C. Remember, the letter references are at the end of the book, end of the current book. Fragapati is found page 236. See. See. C says corporal darkness here simply means corporal bodies because the souls of mortals are thus protected against the too powerful light of Jehovah. It is on this same account that infants and young people at death have their spirit period in the dark or lower heavens until they become strong enough to endure the light. The greatest of all misfortune is, therefore, to die young, especially in infancy. But mothers who have suffered such a painful loss may take comfort in the fact that all children, including those in infancy, are never lost and they receive special loving care appropriate for the innocent. 1882 in lowest edition. That was good. Another question, like my niece, actually my sister and my niece called me yesterday and they asked a question. My niece is 18 years old. So she's asking some of these like spiritual questions, like how can we know? Like, how do we know? Right? Because she was kind of brought up during the era where we were still kind of like full-blown Christians. And then we were migrating from religion into, we'll say, from religion to responsibility, right? She got caught up in that phase just like my oldest son Elijah and Jeremiah. So now that we're migrating from religion to responsibility, they got a lot of questions. And it's like, well, I don't know. Well, that's what I thought. Now that I know, we can literally think for ourselves, so that's why Jeremiah is really outspoken. And she is too. And she asked these questions like, well, how do we even know that there is a spirit world? I'm like, first of all, you are a spirit, but how do we know? Good question. I'm like, I got to learn how to answer this. How do we know? I said, well, the only way that I can right now, like, prove that, because this is like, we should be proving this stuff, right? We should be able to prove this. So I started thinking about some of the scientific experiments where scientists are testing how much the body weighs after a person dies. And I believe at death, when they take their last breath, is when their soul exits or their spirit exits their body. The bodies have been proven and tested. I want to say it's either 21 or 26, maybe 24, running there, like 20 something grams. Is it grams or ounces lighter after the spirit? And so they put them, they've done, matter of fact, even in that series Evil, I forget which one, but I think it's season two, I forget which episode, where they're testing it. They put the guy that's about to die on the table, and so they measure everything, body fluids and all of that. So they've done it quite a few times, and they've noticed this trend, taking in account of all the body weight, the mass, everything. But after everything is settled, it's always like 20 something ounces. I want to say it's either ounces or grams, I forget, but it's always 20 something grams or ounces lighter. So they said the spirit is light and it weighs probably these ounces because this, and they've constantly done it, and it's always that amount of weight lighter, right? So I'm gonna say there ain't no fat spirits out here. Like some people say, I'm big bone. No, B, we all got the same bone structure for the most part, right? But ain't no fat bones. But so I was like, well, so I mentioned that. I said we have that testing. Can I actually prove? I would say yes, I can, but sometimes that doesn't transition well over to people who haven't necessarily had any kind of spiritual experience. I've had a lot of spiritual encounters, whether astral projecting for one. Like if you've astral projected, you know that there's another world outside of this, right? So if you're able to do that, if you don't like the term astral projection, you've had an out of body experience, right? People who've had out of body experiences understands and knows that there's more than just this, and that death, you don't just sleep, right? But there's also the spiritual activity that's going on around you. If you're really sensitive, you can pick it up. All of these things are indications that there's something other than this realm, right? So, but she asked some good questions, but I'm like, I really got to learn how to just really think this all the way through. I got to like write this down or something. So when other people ask me this, and it's not the first time I've been asked that question, like, how do you know? It's only so much that I can say. If they haven't, like I say, if they haven't had those spiritual encounters. And the thing about it, she's witnessed, we'll call it otherworldly activity happening in a house. In her and my sister's house or whatever. So she know that there's something there, but it's still, I don't think it's like quite clicking, like, okay, maybe this is some kind of scientific phenomenon that we're not really able to explain yet. Maybe the wind was blowing just a little too hard. No, B, the door unlocked and it opened and there was nobody there. The wind don't do that. Who unlocked the door, B? Right? Even my brother, like, yo, I'm getting out of here. So things like that, right? The flicking on and off of light, like all of these different things. Some of them can be explained, and it is sometimes shenanigans afoot, but sometimes it's not, right? And what about the those spirits who can actually show themselves, like all of these different type of things. So we're still a lot ignorant in some places, but that's one of the main reasons of doing some changes this year, to be able to gauge spiritual growth and spiritual insight. And are we still being religiously spooky like we were when we were sitting in somebody's church? Or are we really developing? Are we really growing? Like, what are we really doing here? Right? So I just thought about that when I read this. So let's go back to this. Listen. I'm sorry, that was a footnote. We read the footnote, but I will reread this verse 10 where the footnote was at on page 182. And once we get done, we're going to be done. It's only, 20 verses, 1 on 10. Okay. Behold my wisdom, O man, in creating souls out of the substance of corporal darkness. Thus can their souls hear me and not be afraid. But to them who become pure souls, I come openly. Their throne becometh my throne. Their voice becometh my voice. Their hosts look upon my throne, and my light shineth before my people. Hear then thy creator, O Zaredho. Thy people called to me in their darkness, but I came not. Thy hand was upon them. Thou hast said unto them, behold, my wide countries, my mountains and valleys, my bright rivers and refreshing winds. Come ye, they are yours to keep forever. And because thy hand was upon them, they were beset with darkness. They could not find their way out, neither beheld they more the glory of my kingdoms. Yea, thou wert as a wanton going after my chosen, and thy voice lures them away from me. But I spoke in nirvana, high above, in my thrones of light, and my sons and daughters heard my voice. I said unto them, lo, the red star and her heavens are fallen in darkness. So remember, the red star is referring to the earth. But I spoke in nirvana, high above, in my thrones of light, and my sons and daughters heard my voice. I said unto them, lo, the red star and her heavens are fallen in darkness. Go ye to them and deliver them into a new resurrection. Had I not spoken in the ancient days, saying, inasmuch as you raise them up that are beneath you, so will I send them who are above down to you to raise you up also. But they forgot my words, neither strove they more to raise up them that were in the hells below. I'm gonna read that again. But they forgot my words, neither strove they more to raise them up that were in the hells below. And I said unto my Nirvanians, go ye to Zaredho, for she hath enticed my holy ones away from me. And ye shall give them a parable of compensation openly, and they shall come before my light and hear my voice. For ye shall take them to hell and cause them to deliver the Jew house through the light of my countenance, and thereafter shall ye bring them to more rule, that I may speak with them face to face. Okay, so we thought Fragapati concocted this whole plan. Listen, bro, I know this is the most best perfect heaven, but I'm gonna go away. And you said if I can prove some of these stories of greater light above what y'all have here in your most best perfect heaven, then y'all will ride with me, right? Everybody get dressed up, put on some clothes, and we'll go check it out, right? We thought that was Fragapati's plan. It was his plan given by the great creator as proven here. He's saying it, right? This is exactly what Fragapati did. All right, bro, we back. Y'all ready to go? John got us some clothes. What you want me? Y'all put on some clothes because y'all can't ride in my ship naked. Let's roll. I'm going to take y'all to see this great light. But first, we got a pit stop to make. Destination, hell. Right? So they get to hell and they see all these people. And mind you, some people that them backslid from their most best perfect heaven. Bro, what? Wait, won't you? Yeah, man, y'all weren't growing anymore. And there was like no movement there, and everybody was getting naked because y'all ain't had nothing else to do in the best, most perfect heaven. So we figured we'd venture out a little bit. We're gonna go sin a little bit. And guess what we found out? They get naked here too. At least we can move around a little bit. You may call it backslider, but at least we can move here. You get there and you can't grow anymore, right? So this entire plan was concocted by the great creator. Maybe concocted is not the best word to use for this because there's deliverance that happened here, right? But that's how in tune Fragapati was with the great spirit. That plan that he's repeating now, that Fragapati has carried out. So when they went down there to the hell and saw that, man, people from the most best perfect heaven have literally backslid into hell. How did y'all get here? Why was it not strong? Why was the atmosphere not strong enough and good enough to keep you there, right? And so they learned something about movement and how the creator created us to what? Perpetually develop, perpetually grow, right? Even if we stop growing physically, our spirits were created to perpetually increase and grow and mature. So they learned something down there. They got involved with the deliverance down there, and now they've picked them up and they're at the hospitals and the nurseries to be restored to sanity so they continue their growth process, right? Bless them. Verse 14. Let me go back. Verse 13. But I spoke in nirvana, high above, in my thrones of light. And my sons and daughters heard my voice. I said unto them, lo, the red star and her heavens are fallen in darkness. Go ye to them and deliver them in a new resurrection. Had I not spoken in the ancient days, saying, inasmuch as you raise them up that are beneath you, so will I send them who are above down to you to raise you up also. But they forgot my words, neither strove they more to raise up them that were in the hells below. And I said unto my Nirvanians, go ye to Zeredho, for she hath enticed my holy ones away from me. Talking about the best, most perfect heaven. He said, she has enticed my holy ones away from me. But they forgot my words, neither strove they more to raise them up that were in the hells below, and said unto my Nirvanians, and I said unto my Nirvanians, go ye to Zeredho, for she hath enticed my holy ones away from me, and ye shall give them a parable of compensation openly, and they shall come before my light and hear my voice. For ye, here's the plan, for ye shall take them to hell and cause them to deliver the Jew house through the light of my countenance, and thereafter shall ye bring them to more rule, that I may speak with them face to face. Hear the commandments of your Creator, O ye sons and daughters of Zeredho. For that which I give unto you shall be inviolate, which is that ye shall have dominion over the earth and her heavens for 200 years, commencing at the close of this dawn of Dan. And thou, O Hoel, shall be God over all the rest, and thou shalt be anointed with power to raise up successors with power and wisdom. Be wise, O my children, and profit ye in the wisdom of my Etherean host, while yet the dawn of Dan remaineth. The voice ceased. Then spake Athavra, saying, In thy name, O Jehovah, do I suspend myself from thy throne, till it be the will of Fragapati, and thy will also. And he rose up and stood aside. Then Fragapati went and sat in the midst of the throne. Fragapati said, I proclaim 3 days recreation to the Holy Council. Don't do it, Fragapati, because you know I'll take 3 days off from you. It's the end of this, y'all. Look, hold on. Fragapati said, I proclaim 3 days recreation to the Holy Council and to the city of Moru. Behold, my people shall mingle together as brothers and sisters, rejoicing in the light of the Father. Be ye joyful, singing and dancing. The ascent to Jehovah's kingdoms may be likened unto a ladder with steps, and not an even plane. Hold on. The ascent to that's good. I gotta highlight that. The ascent to Jehovah's kingdom may be likened unto a ladder with steps, the golden ladder spire. Thinking about the Holy Megillah. The ascent to Jehovah's kingdoms may be likened unto a ladder with steps, and not an even plane. And ye shall call this the first step in the resurrection of the earth's heaven in this dawn. The hosts then mingled together, greeting and rejoicing, for the Zeredhoians had long desired to see the Etherians now dwelling in Moru, and the Etherians were equally desirous of seeing the Atmospherians. Consequently, there was great rejoicing and merriment. And that is the end of the reading for today. Like, we got to end right there. So it seems to be, unless it's really short chapters, but it seems like that we're never going to get through more than 2 chapters a day, especially since I cut the time down just a little bit, right? So if we read 2 chapters from Owaspy, that's almost indicating that we would not be able to get to Holy Megillah. And if we flip-flop it, vice versa, the same thing will happen. Unless all the chapters are really short, then we might be able to squeeze in 3 or 4. But for today, that's going to be it. That's going to be it for today. Hold on. Cosmine Cow, what's going on, fam? Oh, man, you've been here for a minute. I just now looked up. I'm sorry. Supreme Bright Other, what's going on? What's going on? Tabitha said, Sathanti's angelic crew was made up of many who died as babes, so it was easier for them to fall victim to the Asu flesh behavior. You're right. You're right. Did we get to that yet? Hold on. We did already. We reread that. Hold on. Did we? We did. We did. Yep, we did. Okay. That's dope. Just Me said, a lot of today's preachers, ministers, priests, spiritual gurus, and all these things may see the people that they sent there, Creator help us all. I know, right? That's what's crazy about it all. Listen, they can learn a lot from Hoab and his most best perfect heaven is a red hole, right? You might as well call it this point. Before Fragapati came, the red hole was like another word for a higher hell, right? Y'all just faking a funk like y'all not really suffering there, but you are. Why? Because there is no growth. Like, you come up here and you find out there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. We live in perfectness all the days long, right? Like, something's got to be wrong with this, right? That's why I said we got to learn how to break our growth down in increments so we can test, like, where are we at? Where were we at last month versus where we at spiritually this month? Like, we really have to keep our hand on the steering wheel, our hands on the gauges to gauge our spiritual growth and make sure we're not backsliding or sliding into another religious faction somewhere that gets us hemmed up again from what we're trying to break free from. Remember, we're coming from religion into responsibility, which requires growth, and it requires discipline and determination and consistency, and it requires you to take the lead of your life and not allow somebody else to lead you, right? So we got to learn how to gauge where we're at, and when we get good, we can do it on a daily basis, because what is tracked is what's remembered, is what's is what gets the attention. Whatever you track, your attention stays on it, and we can literally perfect it, right? Even in losing weight, some people say, don't get on the scale every day. Well, shucks, why not? Wouldn't it be better for me to realize that I didn't gain 2 pounds today, rather than for me to get 2 weeks down the road and my jeans don't fit and I go get on the scale? Oh my God, how did I gain 15 pounds? Well, sis, first of all, remember the diet you were supposed to be sticking to, or your new lifestyle of eating? You weren't really sticking with that. And had you been getting on the scale daily, checking yourself daily, this would not have gotten this far out of hand. Some of us don't want to throw our scales away. Go get a scale. Put your scale in the kitchen. Get your 2 scales. Get a scale for your food. If it weighs more than a few ounces, it's too much for you. You ain't gonna die. Remember, all of that extra fat stored away, that's food. So even if you go into starvation mode, or you literally get kidnapped and be thrown in the dungeon somewhere, I mean, I was about to make a joke. Maybe I think that joke was probably being inappropriate, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm learning how to check myself daily. Listen, but all the extra fat and stuff, that's food stored away, right? And your body is smart. It will learn how to pull the food from within if you no longer feed it from without, right? So I'll leave that joke there. Jamia said a higher hill because the inhabitants were not slaves. Right. But still, they were captured by their own. Listen, they weren't slaves, like in a sense of physical slaves, but they truly were enslaved to themselves and the bondage that they put themselves in. So in a way, they became slaves in the best, most perfect hell, right? Slavery, I realize, can happen on a multitude of levels, right? A multitude of levels. Even just look at physical slavery. When the slaves, doesn't matter. You in jail, you talk about the slave times or whatever, but there are people who are free that are still enslaved, right? They're enslaved to mental bondages. There's a new way to put people in slavery, right? That's why you got to make sure you're getting on your scale every single day. Every single day. Don't let a day go by where you're not checking, right? So I know I said 30 days, but I think 30 to 60 days will be a good period. Not that you shouldn't check every day, but I think the strung together days of consistency will begin to yield results that you can see after about 30 days, right? After about 30 days, even more 60 days. And those results should compound upon themselves because of this consistency, right? And you should be able to track easily as the days go on, right? All right, son, love you. So, but yeah, that's it, y'all. The bondage of self, it is definitely hell. That's a worse hell, right? Because now you're walking around deluded, right? And thinking you're not. That's the worst kind of bondage. Those are the worst kind of chains, right? The worst kind of chains is the chains on your brain, right? And if there's chains on your brain, there's chains on your entity, right? On your spirit. All right, beautiful people. So that's it for today. It is Monday, September the 11th, 2023, day 100 of year 5 of reading through books, laws, and prophets, and of the 5-year consecutive day count. It is a 1,480, and we read chapters 14 and 15 in OASP, which were pages 180 to page 184. All right, beautiful people. Oh man, did I? No, I did. I said the rest of relaxation when needed. So let's see. Let's see what I got here. I wrote down a few. I like that one. Father, we thank you that you are. I might need to reword that. We thank you that you are the great composer of this symphony we call life. which is an ever-expanding existence and a place of development for all of those that you give life. Life of your life, light of your light. That's what we are. We are because he is. I am, right? I am. Light of the great creator's light. All right, beautiful people, that's it. Thank y'all for hanging out. Tiffany, hey cousin, hey girl, hey. Just me. I saw this late. It's the Isaiah 14:16 KJV. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? I love that scripture. Right? Listen, man, that's good. That's good. Fits right in today. Fits right in with what we read today about Zeredho. Right? All right, beautiful people, that's it. We got to get out of here. I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here in the morning, bright and early, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
But I see through you.
I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gold. I've been far away. I'm illuminated now, making moves.
What did you just do to me?
I pushed your astral form out of your physical form.
What's in that tea? Psilocybin? LSD?
It's just tea. With a little honey.
What just happened?
For a moment, you entered the astral dimension.
What?
A place where the soul exists apart from the body.
Why are you doing this to me?
To show you just how much you don't know. Open your eye.
Been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a cold sign.
What's happening? This isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't real, this is...
Dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a cold sign.
His heart rate is getting dangerously high.
He looks all right to me. You think that this particular universe is all there is?
I don't need gravity, I don't need
What mysteries lie beyond the reach of your senses? Existence, mind and matter meet. Thoughts shape reality.
I don't need gravity, I just need growth. Of this illusion, I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't swim or sink, I just float.
Some benevolent and life-giving, filled with malice and hunger. Dark places where powers older than time and waiting.
I don't swim or sink, I just float.
Who are you in this vast multiverse?
I don't need gravity, I just need gravity, I just need growth.
Have you seen that before in a gift shop?
I don't need gravity, I just need growth.
Teach me.
No.
It's an earthquake rumble. I won't ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble.